One of the foundation of my leadership and my upbringing is the truth. I speak the truth. I don't tell lies. I have never been telling lies. Never. I uphold virtue. Professor Carson Anyangwe, and I think now he sent out a statement. I want to be very brief on this. And is somebody I have known for more than 30 years, has been somebody whose writings and statements has been the foundation of my own knowledge base. It's Professor Carson Anyangwe and myself, I think 2016, who convened a conference in Boya that brought in the Tasang, the Agbo Balas, and others to see if we could work unity. We convened 2 conferences. It is Professor Carson Anyangwe and myself, I think in 2006, or I can't recall. We worked together for the Oslo and Washington conferences. So we have a long history. I respect him a lot, and he is the one who proposed a model. He said to me clearly, he said, "Look, Cho," he calls me Cho. You and Siseko need to work out something. I said, "Prof, put down something, put a model." And he put a model and sent it to a third party. And my name, President of AGOVC, the document is right in front of me. I've shared it with him and he's accepted. This is not to incriminate anyone. It's just so people know sometimes the hard work we have been doing in the background. And I forwarded that to Seseko through third party. And I don't want to go, he's in jail. There are still things I don't want to talk about. Right. But I spoke to Seseko Ebini about it, the leadership model and the other model. The document is very wonderful, wonderful. And the Seseko camp, I want to use my words carefully, okay? And I don't want people to take it out of context. I don't want to be very direct, but I'm going to speak in a nuanced way, and I hope Ambazonians understand. I know that Seseko's voice is out there, certain things, but I am a liberation leader. I'm a war leader, and so it is different if Seseko speaks to you or to other persons on humanitarian issues than speaking with me. It might bring him into problems. So I'm going to frame my statement in a way that is very important. So this document was shared, and I went back 3 times to get an opinion of it. I referred them to consult with Professor Carson Anyangwe, to consult with Seseko Ebini. Anyangwe reached out to me and said he has not been consulted. And I went back to Seseko Ebini and asked if he's been consulted. He said no. So the basis for collaboration, tangible, was established. It needed for the 2 leaders, and I accepted it. It needed for the other parties to accept. It could only have been binding on the Ambazonian Governing Council if it was approved by Cabinet and the National Council. And I don't know their own procedure of making agreements binding on them. But this is where Professor Carson Anyangwe is. He's, let me tell you Professor Carson Anyangwe's dilemma. And it's the dilemma that Tasang was inside. It's the dilemma that Pound 4 was inside. I am of a different era. I'm a radical rebel. Okay? And I am not seen as one of them. It is easy for Anyangwe to rub shoulders with the Seseko than to rub shoulders with me. He would prefer to deal with me in private. And so, even when I was going out for an interview with Professor Carson Anyangwe, he was worried because he thought it would be a betrayal to his allegiance to the Sesekos. There are a lot of things going on that a statesman, a father of our consciousness, will not recall. A fundamental document that he wrote, circulated, and we discussed in weeks. It's not because he forgot. It's not because he was lying. He was afraid of the consequences of public acknowledgement in his relationship with the IGK. That is what you see we all face here. Loyalty to his peers. And let me leave it at that. There was a document. The document is still there. We will not share it out because it was a it was a classified document, and I think that we will look at it in the future.
So with all, thank you so much for that, for answering that question, Dr. Ayaba. So with all this going on, and the issue of collaboration, what is needed for? I mean, I think that we have come a long way in this our war of liberation, and I think that most of Ambazonians, so if not all, are desperately looking for that platform where all the movements can actually sit together and speak from one mouth. So, what do you think is needed for a sustainable collaboration that will enable meaningful dialogue?
Movement fatigue. You know, if you study conflict, and you would conflict professionals have always asked, when do parties come to the table? When do parties really come to the table? There is sometimes resistance fatigue. We will Collaboration is ongoing. We will come together as a people. I'm very optimistic. Very soon, and I think others will come to the realization that it doesn't serve anyone trying to destroy the other one. It doesn't serve you trying to destroy another movement. I have constantly said, if you want to be recognized, you design a better model that is acceptable. We are now at a point, an opportune moment in our struggle to realize some of the mistakes we made in the past and the cost it has had on our people, on our liberation struggle. I have tenacity. I've been around, I'm a marathonist. I've been around for 30 something years and I'm just getting started. And I think others are coming to the realization that by continuously trying to claim exclusive power to prosecute this war of independence, you are putting yourself in a position that will make your existence impossible. And I'll give you an example. 1996, the SCNC became what you call the executive organ of the Southern Cameroon's People's Council. Later on, it was seen as the de facto constituent assembly for the Ambazonian people. Subsequent leaders of the SCNC began to claim this exclusive power to dominate all through, even when we fought in exile. I'll give you a short history of myself and Comrade Yerima. Yerima was in the SCNC in Holland. In that same Holland, we had the SCYL. I worked so hard to bring the SCNC and the SCYL together in Holland with him. He too was there. He was always opposing me. Once we set the SCNC and SCYL together, they of the SCNC, because they think they must be over others, they work hard to dismantle that collaboration in order to claim exclusive right. They did. My first trip to Holland in 2016, I was in the hall with Yerima. He never said hello. Never. The mother prayed for me in that hall and said, I don't know why my son is not accepting the name Ambazonian. It's such a beautiful name. He walked away, but it's somebody I have known for 20 years. When he was appointed by Seseko, Professor Carson Anyangwe reached out to me and said, listen, You have to bury history and work together. I said, Prof, I don't have room in my heart for long-term anger. So I will be willing to work with him irrespective of the route. And we began to work together. So no one in this struggle, including the Ambazonian Governing Council and myself, should ever claim or attempt to dominate others. You must treat others with respect and with equality. Leaders are not only those who run armies on the ground. You must not be a leader because you don't have a defense force. There are leaders who provide ideological foundation for struggles, pathway for struggles. We must recognize also the competence of people. We must recognize the contribution of people. But I think the ultimate reason why collaboration will work this time is because of fatigue. The IG has fatigue. It's unsustainable. It cannot be sustained. And it is reasonable that, and I point Dr. Akwanga here. It's a classical example. We founded the SCYL together. At one time, he became the leader. I was the secretary general. During this struggle, we had a rift. We went our separate ways. The reason why I hardly utter negative statements and bashing people is because I know someday you people will sit together and look at each other in the face. And you will be ashamed of yourself if you spend your entire time trying to rub people in mud and you've gained nothing. But this is what Dr. Akwanga did. Dr. Akwanga realized that if he continued as chairman of the SCYL, if I am a very bad person, I may run a parallel SCYL as secretary general. I may run a parallel SCYL as secretary general just to undermine what he is doing. He was smart like a whip. What he did was to create the APLM. and immediately he took every contestation and factionalization away. That is exactly what I advise my friends of the IGK. Dismantle this stuff called IG, set up a movement, and then leave the people who want to claim to be whosoever to have the singular entity. It is going to reduce the friction and it's going to create the avenues for collaboration. Because just imagine Siseko and Sako wants to collaborate. Who is then the president of Ambazonia?
Absolutely.
But I think, and I have said it, and I say it here, the current crisis in the IG is not for us to rejoice. It's not for us to clap our hands. It's for us to see it as an opportunity for us to be able to have more understanding and build bridges and to be able to deliver for our people, a free homeland.
Thank you so much.